Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into some more PvP with the 6+ Gear 5 Luffy. And in today's video, we're taking a look at the Free Spirit team rather than just the Psy Free Spirit team. Now, with the release of the 6+ of Gear 5 Luffy, he actually buffs Free Spirit now. They have moved away from the Psy tag, and they have focused in on Free Spirits. So we're going to test him out alongside stuff like Zoro, alongside Sanji, and Kid Law. They're the big three that are sort of going around in the Free Spirit team right now. There obviously is Luffy Yamato as well, and that's one of the big downsides to this particular Gear 5 6+ Luffy is they share a name with Luffy and Yamato, which means you cannot run both of them on the same team. But in today's video, like I said, we are doing some PvP, we're taking on some challenge fights, and we're going up against some of the harder ones. We're going to start off with Sasaki. There are a lot of driven powerhouse units littered throughout the meta nowadays, so Kid Law is actually an exceptional unit. Like, at the very beginning of Kid Law's release, sort of seeing what they are, early days, nothing was too impressive. But now that we've seen more Free Spirit-centric teams get just stronger and stronger, this particular Gear 5 be very, very good, and Powerhouse and Driven get quite a big buff with stuff like Kaido and Big Mom, Kid Law just really shows their value when it comes to actual PvP as well. But Gear 5, like I said, they made him more Free Spirit-centric, and they moved away from Psy, so he can be used on a variety of teams. And if you guys didn't check out the Psy video, make sure to go check that out. That was a lot of fun. That team is actually absurd. You have a lot of very, very good options on that team as well. You have stuff like Momo, Roger, you have Wano Law. You can even use stuff like Kino and Denjiro if you really want to as well. But with this particular Free Spirit team, you don't really have too many other options that you can kind of flock towards. You do have other options in stuff like Roger. You do have other options in stuff like Ace Yamato, but like the options are kind of limited when we are talking pure Free Spirit rather than actual color buffs. But what did they change about Gear 5? What difference did they actually give to this particular unit that makes him so good on the Free Spirit team? Well, his Rumble ability gives a Free Spirit class teammates attack up level 6, defense up level 6, speed up level 6, crit up level 6, and he gives himself a 100% chance to revive one time. Now that revive is so incredibly powerful, like disturbingly powerful. We've seen a revive mechanic with Super Tandem Luffy to any Dex character. We've seen it in Zoro, and we've seen it in stuff like Kaido, being Verse Kaido from New Year's Batch. But having a 100% chance to revive is actually, it's actually wild. All characters from up until this point were only 50%, and now with 100%, you can just absolutely destroy teams that have units like Roger Whitebeard, King, Kid, all those units that can just decimate your team. Roger Whitebeard's really the big one because they have a tendency to just kill 2 units. And on the Free Spirit team, you now have 2 units that can revive, being Luffy and Zoro. And if Roger Whitebeard hit both those units, which they stereotypically do, you basically just don't lose anything to your squad. On top of that, throughout normal runs and normal fights, if you do die as Luffy or as Zoro, you basically have an extra life, making this 6-man Free Spirit team technically an 8-man Free Spirit team because you have that revive mechanic in the bag. And that was the downside to Free Spirits, right? They only had access to 5 units as they don't have a PvP rare recruit. You're always sort of forced into bringing a Nuka or something like Rebecca Toy Soldier on the bench, or a very good Free Spirit unit that could just sort of come in and give you some sort of buff, or something like King or what's the name, like the Giants, the Smoker, that could just sort of save you a fight at the back end. But now, with these revive mechanics, you can actually do some really, really cool stuff. As you guys saw there as well, we actually took the Apu special. Now, Apu has a tendency to just absolutely decimate Psy, but Luffy now has the ability to avoid half stats. And when you're coming up against Ints, like Driven Powerhouse Int, Luffy is an exceptional unit for this, not only Psy team, but for the Free Spirit team, to actually take this particular team down. You can tank stuff like Apu, you have big damage with Luffy. If you die with Luffy, you come back. He helps out the team with an amazing passive of getting defense up, attack up, speed up. It's just a very, very powerful unit for the team. Once again, Kid Law is so good against Driven and Powerhouse teams. They help you do so much damage. They reduce defense so drastically, and then they buff Free Spirit as well. But this whole team gets just a massive buff. I actually recently 150'd my Zoro across the Kanjuro banner. Well, the Kanjuro banner. So, my Zora's kind of going brazy with the counters as well. But that's sort of what the Free Spirit team can do and how powerful it actually is when not only attacking but also defending as well. Luffy's special just goes absolutely ballistic when you do get that second shot off, which is always guaranteed to basically kill something. If Luffy hits the fixed damage and then hits his special after, he goes absolutely berserk. He targets enemies within a large range, horizontal for 5,000 fixed damage, targets Free Spirit class teammates for attack up level 5, then targets one enemy with the highest HP to ignore defense for 2 times his attack, which is pretty absurd on the Free Spirit team, sitting at like a casual 35 for like majority of the fight. So you're doing a lot of damage with Luffy, and this Free Spirit team can go the distance because of those revive mechanics. And when you have that special popping off in the last 30 seconds, not only is the fixed damage great, but that damage, that 2 times damage ignores defense, just goes absolutely absurd. On top of that, they added an ability for him to do 30% reduction to int characters, but also completely remove special blind and halve stats. So no matter what, that 2 times attack is going to go absolutely absurd because it is never going to be affected by halve stats, and it's always going to go through the enemy's defense. That just makes him an attacking juggernaut as well as a very good defensive unit, and that's shown against the Pell challenge fight coming right up, because this particular fight was just renowned as the hardest piece of content in the game. On top of that, we needed you needed so much damage because the team is so bulky as well to actually get through the defensives and not have the team stall out, that Free Spirit can now easily take it down with the help of obviously Kidlaw as well, that can sort of just melt defenses. Luffy's just, he's so good. Like, he's so good. But the downside to the particular unit, like I said at the start of the video, is that he does clash with Luffy and Yamato. Now, Luffy and Yamato are such a staple on the Free Spirit team. You can run them on the bench, you can run them in the front line, you can use them on striker teams. You have options there, but on the Free Spirit team, they were just such a core makeup. But with Grand Party being now obviously such a predominant force in the game, once a month we play this game mode that has a availability to get 50 gems. Having access to another Luffy on a Free Spirit team isn't the end of the world. You can run whatever Free Spirit team you want when it comes to regular Rumble, but now we have options for different teams in Grand Party. Now, if you guys were lucky enough to pull 2 of the Gear 5 Super Sugo unit for this celebration and did keep both copies before Super Evolving, you're going to have access to 2 very, very powerful units that can be spread across 2 very powerful teams. One of them being the Free Spirit side team, which has shown in the past 2 Grand Parties how ridiculously powerful it is, but also access to this particular Free Spirit team that now is just absurdly strong with 6+ Gear 5. Don't stress though, Luffy Yamato can be used on the striker team, which is still very, very good and very, very powerful on the back end of a bench. So not only can you use your 2 Gear 5s, but you can still get use out of Luffy Yamato on a very, very exceptionally powerful team being strikers, with Roger Whitebeard running around, with Kid running around, Jack being an absolute force since he's 6+, and even before that. So whilst it is a downside that you can't run them together, in Grand Party, this particular unit is definitely going to see some play. And then another reason, well, the versatility of the teams is one reason that he'll see some play. However, his leader skill is absolutely exceptional. His leader skill now buffs Free Spirit class teammates attack up and HP up level 7, CT speed up level 3, but also gives strength and dex teammates HP, speed level 6, and defense level 3. Now, it's a little bit weird that they didn't give him Psi, but could you imagine if this unit had Free Spirit and Psi in the same kit? I think that would just be absolutely absurd, and Grand Party would just be an absolute wrecking ball, and people would hate it so much more than they already do. On top of that, his burst's got a pretty big upgrade as well. It doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but when in practicality, it is actually quite large. After dealing 55,000 damage, which I believe used to be 60,000, he now targets all enemies that ignore defense for 2.65 times his attack in damage that, like I said, that ignores defense. Targets strength, dex, psi, teammates, attack, speed up level 10, defense up level 5, and targets team for half stat reduction of 30 seconds. So direct counter to Roger and what Roger was actually doing for his team, avoiding half stats with his burst now, as well as basically just knocking out the entire team. So if you have this Luffy rainbowed and at level 150, that 2.65 damage is going absolutely ballistic in Rumble. He sits at like a 3,500 attack stat, and when you double that and a half, you're looking at well over 10,000 attack. And my Luffy, that's looking at my Luffy, who's not 150, who's not rainbowed. So that attack stat will definitely get higher, and you're basically going to be hitting for something like 14k across the board, on top of getting a whole bunch of buffs for your team. You can build out for like Free Spirit, as you see here, has a couple of dex units on it. The Striker team definitely has some strength units, being Jack on it as well as Kid. You can use Sasaki and stuff like that. But unfortunately, like I said, you don't get that Sire buff. But the buffs that he gives to Free Spirit definitely make up for that. And he's such a phenomenal unit to be used across the board. Now, I'm not 100% sure how I like to use this guy, where I like to use him more. Do I like him more on Free Spirit? Do I like him more on Psy Free Spirit? You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions of that in the comment section below. Honestly, across both teams, I think he's very, very good. Psy Free Spirit obviously has a lot of synergy now and works really, really well. This is so good, by the way. Watching Roger Whitebeard hit Zoro and Luffy to get the revive is just so nice. But seeing him work so nicely across and having so much synergy across the Psy Free Spirit team is very, very nice. But Free Spirit have just quickly become my favorite team to run in PvP and Grand Party. That having him on the Free Spirit team as well, doing 12k to k, that's nuts. Having him on the Free Spirit team, just, it's a lot of fun as well. And having him as a staple with a revive is just so ridiculously nice. Making a good unit in the game has to be good across all game modes. And I really think that they took this unit to a new level when it comes to PvP. Whilst everyone wanted him to be the best unit in the game in terms of regular play, I do believe that this particular character has become the best all-round character for PvP. Talking Grand Party, talking leader skills, talking burst skills, talking actual passives and everything. You look at the character as a whole, I do believe this is the best PvP character in the game. Finally, dethroning Goldie Roger and Edward Newgate as the best PvP character in the entire game. But like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions of the unit as a whole in the comment section below. Do you still like the 6-star more than the 6+? Let me know down below there as well. While you're down there though, make sure to belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later! Oh, yeah!